What's going on, you guys? Coaster here, just talking about this. Really, a lot of activity this past week. First and foremost, rest in peace, Willie Brown. Really, just obviously sad. He was working. But I think the saddest thing about all of this is that the Raiders did not have like a WB patch on their helmet. Like, come on. Should have been a very obvious time to do that, just like we had Gene Upshaw and other people in the past honored. There should have been something on the helmet for Willie Brown, and I'm actually very sad that they couldn't even honor that in some way besides a moment of silence. I mean, he worked for the Raiders until his death, guys. Just remember that. Obviously, my parents are going to remember the pick six against the Vikings. Very, very sad time. I hope lots of prayers go to his family. Second, and then there was the trade, of course. Conley was sent to the Texans right before game day. You know, it's actually worth doing that because that's addition by subtraction. That's an inherited guy. That's a Reggie player. Unfortunately, things are not working out. But, of course, he makes the game-winning, was it, fourth down stop play against the Raiders in the following game. Just a nice kick in the groin. But as for the game, that game itself was not on Derek Carr. I'm not going to blame Carr as much for this one. He did his job when you look at it in the big picture. He had some drops, some plays that didn't help him, but as you could say, quarterbacks are streaky. Week by week, you can look good, bad, whatever. Now, unfortunately, who knows what's going to happen ahead, but the Detroit Lions are a must-win game, all right? This is a team, unfortunately, that's not good. I think we've learned 7 weeks what this team is. They have a quarterback who can be very up and down. They can do well if they run the ball. But the defense is not good enough to win games alone. We've seen it's a very below-average defense. Deshaun Watson destroyed the Raiders' defense again. And really, there were just some terribly disciplined plays. I think, to me, a lot of that game, I saw a lot of Paul Gunther, and they had a lot of linebackers on wide receivers. Like, what the hell? That's a coaching issue, not a player issue as much. So, yes, a loss. It sucks. I really thought that game against the Texans was winnable, but at the same time, when I look back at the Raiders' record, at this point, I had them right around 3-4 or 2-5. I thought, okay, a lot of tough games ahead. You got to get some wins, but yeah, so far they look exactly like the 7-9 team that I've kind of projected from the start of the year. I wish I was dead wrong, but the Raiders just are not good enough, especially on defense, to compete. They can beat some really bad opponents. They can beat some banged-up opponents. But right now, that win over the Colts makes no sense. It's like the Colts overlooked the Raiders at this point. Now, it's like they saw the Raiders on their schedule, and they thought, oh, easy win. Easy win. I don't know. A lot of opponents I don't think are dumb enough to do that anymore. I know the Chiefs have overlooked opponents. It's nice to see that, but I'm not focused on what the rest of the league is doing. I'm not scoreboard watching. If the Raiders don't win, this all means nothing, okay? The Raiders just got to win games and take care of business, because if they don't, it's over. So, Detroit, that's a team that's had a lot of close games, a lot of losses that were heartbreaking. Of course, the Lions are usually being the Lions, but I still remember that game 8 years ago, because I was in the building when they blew it. And I think, was it Calvin Johnson caught a jump ball against Rolando McClain? That pisses me off today, just thinking about how terribly coached that game was by Hugh Jackson. But yeah, it's a must-win. If you lose, this season's over. I don't think the Raiders can recover from being 3-5 and making some run. Yeah, the AFC is still pretty mediocre as a whole. There's only one right now. There's only one legit team, and that's about it. But until told otherwise, this team's just there. You could say, oh, there's progress. There's Josh Jacobs, guys you can build on, but there's no next year in Oakland. Just a reminder. There's no next year for me, so my energy's gone. What can you say? The Raiders are doing what they're doing in preparation for Vegas. So we'll see what happens. Good luck to the team, but I'm not feeling it. So let me know what you all thought about the game. I'm sorry if I'm late, but Detroit is a must-win. And lastly, I just want to say thoughts and prayers to those affected by the fires in both Sonoma and those in SoCal. So see you guys later. Hope everything's all right in both fire situations.